Hello and welcome to another edition of the Get Wet It podcast. Today we have, and I didn't normally, Lisa, I'm like on top of making sure that I say the last name right. Shorr.
Mhm. That's it.
Oh, that's it. I
Like
said
the
it
sure
right.
thing.
The Shorr
The
thing.
sure thing. Yep. I
All
am
right.
sure thing. Yep.
Shorr though.
Different
Okay.
spelling.
Good. Okay. All right. Anybody who listens knows I struggle with last names. So, and then they laugh. And so it's like my weakness. So, so I said it right. There you
You
go.
did.
I did. Look at that. All right. So we're going to chat it out, but we always like to know, Lisa, where are you from? How did you get where you're at now? How you became fabulous. It's
That fabulous
an
woman that
everyday question, right?
absolutely. What's your journey? How'd you get here? Where'd you come from? Well, I came from outer space, and
Exactly.
some days I feel like I'm on the moon, but I'm here on Earth. And
Exactly.
I started I started as my degrees in marketing, and I'm from Massachusetts originally. And I graduated, I was working in Boston selling books, and then I met my husband as a blind date. And when we met, he's a Rhode Islander, and that was history. I knew I was going to marry him when I met him. And so I moved to Rhode Island, and he had already started a small technology business. So I shifted from selling books in Boston to working with him on selling or learning how to sell technology, emerging technology. I mean, this is back in 1998. So I'm aging myself a little, but that's okay. It's all
That's
right. It
okay.
adds
That's okay.
to the
You're young.
history, you know?
What before we begin, was this blind date like you walked into a bar and you were like, "Oh, there's my rock star."
Oh no, I walked
Oh
into a
no.
coffee shop. Yeah. So no,
Oh,
I had a
coffee
girl
shop.
that I worked with in Boston who was from Rhode Island. And she used to hang out with my husband, Eric, at a coffee shop in Providence. And she said to both of us, "Oh, I want to introduce you to somebody." And each of us said, "Oh, the blind date thing isn't for me." And she said, "No, I think I know someone for you." And so I drove myself down to Rhode Island. I did the hour drive. It's not that bad of a drive, but when you live in New England and you can go one state to another easily. But I literally, though, walked into the coffee shop, and I suspected it was Eric on the other end of the coffee shop. My instinct was it was him. And it was just one of those moments I knew that, oh, okay, all right, this is going to be good. This is going to be good. And
Wow.
22 years later, this June, we're still married. Hasn't
June
been always
what?
easy, but we're still married. So, and
When's
working
the
together.
anniversary? June what?
June 25, June 25th. Yeah. 22
Mine's the
years.
18th. So yeah,
Oh,
June's a great month to get married in. Yes.
it was a wonderful weather month. It was a
Yeah.
wonderful time of year.
Yeah.
Vacations, people could take time off, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh,
All
happy
right.
anniversary to you.
Yeah, you too. Nailed it with Eric. All right. So Eric's a startup. When you
He
say
was.
selling technology, are you talking like software or hardware or some app?
So we are what you call a managed services provider. So he, at the time, back in 98, so he founded the business in 1992 when he was studying at the University of Rhode Island. And he was setting up local area networks for clients, very basic networks, and computers, and setting up computers and doing some tape backups, tape drives and that kind of stuff. So just think back to the archaic dinosaur days.
Yeah.
And
our younger crowd is like, hey,
exactly.
What are you talking about?
Windows, what? So yeah, Windows 95, like all the old. And so he needed help. So I always joke and say that I didn't just marry my husband, Eric. when you're a business owner, you marry the business too. And that is the history. So to this day, I definitely still feel it. It's part of our DNA. And we do definitely vacation and we work really hard. Doesn't always work, but we work really hard to not talk about work on the weekends if we can. But inevitably, when you own the business and you're 24/7 shop, you have clients that you're monitoring and maintaining 24 hours a day because that's how they pay you. Inevitably, the conversation comes up, but it's an
You guys must
amazing.
really like each other. I couldn't imagine.
Well, it hasn't always been easy. I mean, this is a women in tech podcast, right? It's not always easy. And we definitely have our moments and we're very different personalities. And so at the end of the day, we have one goal in mind and that, well, two goals in mind. One is to be a great employer for our employee, our engineers and our team. And then the other is to be a great company for our clients to help them grow. So
how many people do you have working for you?
21.
Wow.
21. Mm-hmm. Yep. So that in itself. And
that is fantastic.
Yeah. So it's a daily process, it's you wake up every day and you say, okay, how can I be of service? How do I approach this day if I know that there are some challenges or if an employee calls in sick, or we just have to then, adjust and talk about the next step and have a lot of process in place. That's for sure. Oh, yeah.
That is the key.
That is the key.
That is the key.
Communication.
So you're got this technology and you're like, look at these introverted people who struggle with their communication and their brand image and everything else, right? So then you extended yourself.
I did. So back in 2012, I met a woman who is a stylist. So Shorr Success didn't even really happen at that point. And she taught me how to dress women, meaning like body shape and what styles and fabrics and different cuts for your body shape works best, how to clean a closet, how to take someone shopping. Yeah. And I was doing photo shoots. So I had a lot of fun as like a side thing that wasn't tech, but that just was fulfilling me because I love clothing, fashion, image. And so that was a lot of fun. So I started there. So that's the starting point. But then my MSP was struggling and I was doing the marketing, right? I was getting us in newspapers. We were winning some local awards. All those marketing things that you needed to do to build the outside brand. But what was happening is we were losing clients and we were not communicating internally. So team morale was struggling and we had people on our staff that we didn't want to approach. And because they were so smart, but we couldn't approach them because they were edgy or they were arrogant and so that was impacting client success. And we didn't know how to handle that at first. So as a stylist, I found an organization called the Association of Image Consultants International. And that's where you learn not just how to be a stylist, but I found organizations to teach me how to be what's called an image consultant. And so I then learned about the whole body, nonverbal behavior, verbal communication. And I took that training in Georgia. I flew to LA, all around, and I brought it back to my MSP, my IT business. And I started looking at phones and phone skills. What do we sound like on the phone? How are we servicing clients? Are we making them feel not okay because we're geek speaking them to death? We're using too much terminology. I'm working with an MSP right now, for example, who's creating videos, and the content he gave me to start with was brilliant, but his client base isn't going to understand the back end of things. And that's what the whole content was. And so my engineers, talk about firewalls and they talk, but you can't talk about the firewall. They just want to know, are you going to stop the bad stuff from coming into my network so that I'm not hit with a virus? Like, are you going to stop it? That's all they care about. They don't even want to know what the stuff is. They just want you to know that you're stopping it. And so I worked on that. I worked on vocal range with my team. It's not just for singers. Voice lessons are, and I regularly still train, by the way, with my vocal coach, because I want to learn new skills and keep mine up. And boy, when I started looking at all of that, their phone skills, the uniforms that they were wearing, their grooming, because it's all an extension. An IT professional has to think, how do I want my business perceived? And I'm an extension, especially in IT, we're all service-based. Many of us are service-based businesses. And so we are the product that we're selling. It's not necessarily a sonic wall firewall that we're selling, but we're selling our engineers. We're selling our knowledge. We're selling our ability to give my clients peace of mind. And that's a human side of things. So I talk about when you're on site, are you making eye contact? Before COVID, a big, strong handshake was important. Now we kind of do the fist pumps, but that's okay. So all of those things, or the elbow, 100%. And that's where, and so that started to evolve my MSP. And boy, when I did that, I realized I was getting questions from my peers like, can you do that for us? How can we do that? So that's when Shorr Style became Shorr Success, and I rebranded to be business oriented. And it was wonderful ever since.
Did you, okay, you brought it up, COVID. How did that affect? That's huge, because if you were face to face.
I was.
Yeah, you were, okay. So if you're face to face, that didn't happen. Like that went away. So then now what?
Well, so on my engineer side, so you're talking about the engineer side, or are you referring to how did Shorr Success shift?
Like, I guess both, because you did all this grooming and whatnot. And
well,
I'm assuming it went remote. No?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. We learned a lot about what I call over communicating. So it's so important. I'll talk about the MSP shift first, and then I'm going to talk about how I shifted, because I had to learn.
It was double sorted, right?
Yeah. Oh, 100%. I mean, I had all these wonderful gigs booked all around New England, New York, all in person, getting up on that stage. And then all of a sudden, everything got canceled. So and then all of my clients on the tech side all needed to work from home. And they had their own computers. They didn't have any VoIP phone systems. They couldn't connect. And they just didn't know how to handle this. They just needed to be able to work. So thankfully, being an entrepreneur, I was able to, it wasn't easy, but I was able to embrace change. And
that's because you're a woman. That's because you're
that too. You're absolutely right. Because that's why I work as an image consultant in the IT world, because I bring compassion. Like my mission is to talk about emotional intelligence and compassion. And you can't just get out there and just push tech. A lot of people are afraid of tech. They don't understand tech. So we need to communicate in a way that they understand, that they trust us. And so that's why the whole over communication process began, because I had to coach my team first on how to speak to my clients about this traumatic situation. We had to change our voice. No longer could we say, hey, how are you? Well, we know what's going on today. So we shifted to say, hey, what's going on today? How can I help you today? Is there anything that you need from us? Instead of, hey, how are you? Well, we all know. We all know how everybody is. wasn't so great in the beginning.
Well, it's pretty shitty at the beginning there, Lisa.
Let me just tell you how I really feel. And, getting hit with COVID myself gave a double empathy for, I still to this day don't have a strong sense of taste. So I get it. And so I had to teach the team how to be empathetic and and Eric and I, my husband and I, had to adjust our leadership to be empathetic to all kinds of scenarios that our team had. And that was, wow, that was amazing. If we could get through that, there's a lot we could persevere through. Ooh. So, and on the image side, we had to talk about this screen right here.
Mm-hmm.
This is it. It's all we had to work with. We had to think about what we look like, our lighting, our microphones. What did we sound like? Could we still connect? So we were doing webinars with our clients on remote presence. Like I created all kinds of webinars on, okay, let's talk about the tech that you need to sound good when you're still connecting with your clients from home. Let's talk about your background and your distractions and I purposely keep my office background this way because I want people to see what an example of a clean, staged room looks like. You don't see on the other side of this room my daughter's ballet bar, but you don't need to see that. So it's a dual purpose room thanks to COVID. So, but we had all of those conversations and I had to shift to learning Zoom, learning Teams, learning GoToMeeting, whatever I could get my hands on so people could still learn from me. And then I added the new skill of remote presence. And that's, where I've been since. Now I'm speaking back on the stage, I'm thankful for, and I'm attending conferences again, but it's been crazy.
So did you work from an office before?
Yeah.
Are you back in your office or have you lowered your footprint?
We've lowered our footprint. So we're hybrid. We are doing tomorrow. My husband and I had just put a 5-year lease on a beautiful built out an office and in that July before COVID. And then COVID hit 9 months later and whatever that time is from to March, whatever that, 9-10 months later, everyone went home. We had this gorgeous office, all colors and our company logos and the whole thing. And we had a gaming station. We have a shuffleboard table and a kitchen area. Nobody was in it. And I had to pay for it. I still had to pay for it.
That didn't go away.
No,
that didn't go away.
There wasn't
there was no hit the pause button on that. No.
Nope. But there were a couple of engineers, a couple of not just engineers, a couple of employees that actually wanted to be in the office the whole time. And so, which was great because we had plenty of distance going on. We didn't have to worry about social distancing and all of that. So there was always
it was really hard, right? Like they didn't have the opportunity to be like, I have a quiet space, especially with kids being home. And it was very difficult on people. So through all of your imaging thing, did you ever have to a lot of clients that I've worked for during that COVID period, there was a shift in making sure that the mental health of the employees, because people were so used to going out, having happy hours, being interactive, talking at the water cooler. Oh, what'd you do this weekend? And that was now just gone. Like there was no social interaction that adults need.
Absolutely.
And so a lot of clients I know had to take into consider mental health.
100%. That was definitely something that I took very personally, carefully. We instituted a daily meeting every morning, and we still do it to this day now. We call it our daily huddle. So Monday through Thursday from 9 a.m. Eastern time to about 9:15, 9:20, all 20 of us get together and we have themed days. Monday is Motivation Monday. So we talk about what did we do over the weekend or what are we excited about this week? Tuesdays is Tech Tip Tuesday. So we share ideas of what's going on with clients. We'll talk about some tech ideas. gives me some fodder, or my marketing coordinator some fodder for social media. Wednesday is Wednesday wisdom. So this was important to institute because one of the women in my office took on the challenge of finding a quote every week. And we talk about it, some sort of an inspirational quote. So we didn't just talk tech every day. We allowed the conversation to be about professional growth, professional development. And so Thursday and Friday. So Fridays are big. Thursdays, think about it Thursday, just general. And Friday, we have a 1 hour meeting where everybody shares their highlights for the week, maybe some challenge that are going on that we need to discuss, or I do professional development training that time. Then we built in we made sure we still did a holiday party. We hired a wine, oh gosh, what's the wine connoisseur called? A sommelier to deliver wine to all of our employees. And then we did a wine and beer tasting, which was really fun. We hired a company called Let's Roam. It's an online company where it's gaming. And so that was fun. I bought 2, so we've done 1, we're going to do another one. And just honestly, just having real conversations. How are you guys doing? Is everything okay? If we can help you, we're just always being present. Doesn't matter time of day. Eric and I are always available anyway, but we put an extra emphasis on availability and acknowledging where people are, because everybody dealt with COVID very differently, very differently. And we had to accommodate. And of course we did, we did what we had to do. I wanted to preserve my employees. I wanted to preserve my relationship with my clients. So we had to meet people where they were. That was an interesting challenge that we got through beautifully, but it was a day-to-day experience. That's for sure. Day-to-day.
Definitely was a challenge. That's for sure.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
So now that you're back, you said you're going to conferences and talking and that kind of stuff. So in your hybrid in the office, do you have, have you guys talked about going back full time, or is this hybrid like convenient for people, or how?
A hybrid's here I believe that the hybrid, so people realized, a lot of us realized, myself included, that productivity can still happen if you're not physically in the office. I do believe strongly that relationships are built stronger through personal interaction, being in the office. So tomorrow, for example, we're doing a potluck. So everyone's bringing food into the office, and we'll have time to just chat over chili, chat over whatever. And that'll be really nice to be together. A lot of my employees, and I'm talking to a lot of my MSP my IT clients, and so many people are really saying, I like this flexibility. I like to be in the office some and then home some. And I don't see us, I could be wrong, but I really don't see us going back to requirements in the office full time for everybody. There are certain roles that really need to be in the office, different levels of engineer. If you're more of a bench engineer where you're doing a lot of computer setups and prepping servers and things, they need to be in the office because you need to set up the environment that is safe for them. That a lot of that can't be done at home. And so you really need a particular environment for that. But I wish everybody was in the office. I miss seeing that. I'm definitely a hybrid human now. But that's also because I'm straddling 2 worlds, because I have 2 businesses and I've got to be flexible with where I am and meet my clients where they are. So, but yeah, it's been a change.
So for the image business, how did that change for you?
Everything went, in the beginning, everything went remote. And I have to say, I worked a lot. I adapted well. I learned about different technology that would help me to be able to get my message. And I was able to actually expand my client base more than ever before.
Now, who would you say are your clients on that?
So
that
my
side?
ideal clients, yeah. So thank you for asking. My ideal clients for Shorr Success, there are two main focuses. One is a small business, period. I own a small business. I run a small business. I have 23 years of being with Eric in the small business arena. I've coached hundreds and hundreds of small businesses. Sweet spot. I know what it feels like to wear many hats. I know what it feels like to not be able to really hone in on being able to talk about soft skills, being able to, because you're so busy creating an invoice, you're so busy packing that order, you're so busy making that sale, you're so busy creating the quote, you're so busy. So I understand that. The other piece of that, if I even get more granular, is an IT business, is a small IT business. Or really, I just understand IT. I know the thought process. I know what keeps people up at night. I know how emotionally draining it can be, but I also know how rewarding it is when you solve a problem for a client. It's the best feeling ever. So those are my two main audiences. I typically, for image and branding and soft skills to become a cultural shift, it's with the owner of the company. I start there, to be very honest, because I could start with engineers, but if there isn't buy-in from the top and the cultural shift mindset, a growth mindset, then the work that I do isn't going to be followed through with. And that's critical. So that's who I target. I target the CEO, the owner, even if it's a manager, but the manager with the understanding that the owner is on board to attend the workshops, the sessions, that kind of thing.
So is that how you set it up? Like working workshops?
Right.
Where it's interactive and
yep. This is the beauty of it. It's just like you and I talking now. My sessions could either be role playing, they could include PowerPoint slides so that I'm giving content. I always have workbooks. I always have recordings of my training sessions with each client as part of the program so that they can use that as reinforcement. They can use the concepts taught and then break them down into different staff meeting discussions. Or if they need to do some coaching, how did Lisa explain that? Let me go back to Lisa's video on that. Now I can actually talk to my engineer about it and I can use her language, her mindset. And so it helps with the coaching process, the annual review process, just really having that conversation of branding and leadership. We're all leaders, all of us. Doesn't matter the role you are in IT. All of us, women especially, need to understand that we are leaders, that we belong and we have a voice. And we need to use our voice, have confidence in our voice, have confidence in making eye contact, a strong handshake. We are, getting back to the human interaction, making sure that if we're virtual, we're looking at the person and looking at the camera also, because when you're looking at the camera, it gives the impression that you're actually looking at that person versus looking away. If I looked at you the whole time, then I look like I'm not looking at the audience. So, but we talk about all those little intricate things to build your authority and your credibility. And I want all women to know that we have a lot to say. We have a lot of empathy and compassion to give, and we need to say it and get it out and be a part of this community for sure.
Yeah, we like to say if there's no seat at the table for you, girl, go grab a chair and make a seat for yourself.
Absolutely. You make your room. You absolutely have to be in this industry. We have to be, I don't want to say gruff, but we need to be assertive. We have to speak up. We have to, inevitably in the beginning. So I struggled in the beginning with imposter syndrome.
Everybody does.
Everybody, right? My husband was so technical, is still so technical. And so I thought that I had to be up there with him and understanding all of the back end and what's an IP address and what's the difference between public and private IPs and all of that. And I didn't have to know that. What I had to know is how to write about it how to build my business. But every time I thought I had some confidence and I would walk up to a vendor and I'd say, hey, what do you do at a trade show? They never would answer me. They would always put their eyes toward Eric. They would shift it and answer because they assume. And one guy actually said to me, you probably don't understand this, Lisa. So let me explain it to Eric. And so I pulled him aside one day. I can't believe I did this, but I pulled him aside and I said, that wasn't a very nice assumption to make. I said, because I was asking you because I was interested in your product so that I could actually sell more of it. But since you undermined me, I don't think we're going to be investing in you. He didn't like that, but that's the truth. You have to learn how to speak up, and we have to women have to also be assertive to create a paradigm shift and thinking that this is a male dominant industry, which right now it still is. To really finding our foothold and speaking up. And there's ways to speak up to be authoritative and respectful. I'm not saying to not be respectful, but I am saying that, hey, if there's an issue, we need to talk about it. We need to get it out and we need to collaborate together and find ways to make shifts. So one woman at a time, really.
One woman at a time. Agreed.
Oh, yeah.
Agreed. Yeah.
100%.
Definitely. So you're in you said Rhode Island.
I am.
But you were Massachusetts. I keep thinking of the, Donnie Wahlberg, the burgers, right?
Yeah. He's definitely a Bostonian. Yes.
Yeah.
So Matt Damon. Yeah. All of them.
Yeah.
Ben Affleck.
Yeah. Ben Affleck. Yeah. That's what I was thinking about. So, okay. So, but
the accent. Yeah.
Yeah. The East Coast. So when you're not crazy busy, you and Eric have to go out and do things, right? You got to have hobbies. No,
we sure do.
Okay,
yeah.
Great. What are they?
We have some. We love to go to the beach in the summertime. Rhode Island in the summertime is spectacular. And I recommend everybody to come visit Rhode Island in the summer. It's lovely in the fall. It's lovely. But really, the summertime, the beaches here are phenomenal. The seafood is fresh, literally off the boat.
So the seafood is what I would like.
There's a fish market 15 minutes away from my house here. And we just drive there. We'll go get right off the boat fresh fish because there's a whole marina and then there's a fish market. Like they built a little shack literally. And we go and we get flounder, cod, salmon, whatever. And it's right off the boat. It's so good. So highly recommended, recommended. So that's something that we do. And then we have teenage daughters, so they keep us pretty busy. We like to do some traveling. We've gone on cruises. Before COVID, we did a lot of cruises, that kind of stuff. So, and we live in a great area to go walking. And
oh, that's nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is it cold there?
Yes. Right now it is. I'm ready for it to be warmer. Yes.
So
I'm done. It's not as cold as Vermont. I did a sales call today, actually, with a prospect up in Vermont. And the woman I chatted to said it snowed there.
Oh.
So yeah. But so here it's biting cold wind, which makes it feel like 40 degrees, but it's May, it's almost May. So it should be 65 degrees here. And it's not yet.
It's not here either yet.
Not yet. It needs to be. It needs to be 65, 70 degrees already.
It does.
So,
it's depressing.
Yeah. It is. You know what? Because I still have to wear a jacket and I still have to, bundle up, and I'm ready to just be done with the jacket.
Yeah. Yeah. So, all right. So, and you're ready to hit that beach.
Oh, so ready. So ready. We have a beach house actually 20 minutes away. It's kind of a crazy Rhode Islander thing, but a lot of Rhode Islanders buy their beach houses, their vacation homes in state. So, most people will go to Florida or South Carolina or whatever and buy houses down there. Not us. Rhode Islanders, they stay in state. So yeah, so I can't wait to move into it. Yeah.
As a Michigander, that's what we do in Michigan too. We have one house and then you have another house. So you go up north. They call it up north.
The lake. Yeah.
You're to the lake, yeah, but you're not
Yeah.
really, you're like an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours, so a little farther, but not,
But
yeah,
you
you're still right there.
oh, I feel better that it's not just us. I think
No,
it's not
no,
just the
it's
crazy.
Michiganders too. Yeah, they like,
I love
oh,
that.
we're going up north for the weekend, that kind of thing. So
But
yes,
your lakes are gorgeous.
I hear. Well, thank you, thank you. We
Yeah.
my mom, I grew up that way, right? One house, Monday through Friday afternoon, and then Friday afternoon to Sunday
Off to the
evening.
lake. You're off to the lake.
Yeah.
So I love that. I think that's great because you can really feel like you're in a second place
Mhm.
and unwind, but not have to like do extensive travel. So there's something to be
Yes,
said for that.
yes. So, well, what are like, what's next? Do you have some like exciting goals, anything coming up that you guys have for both
Yeah.
avenues of your life?
Yeah, we are just continuing. Our goals are to continue what we're doing. I mean, we got really great momentum, and both years on the tech side of things, we grew double digits each year. So we need to continue that process. And so we are continuing to look for engineers, more engineers to add to our team, and keep expanding that way and growing. We hired a marketing coordinator to work to do a lot of the day-to-day stuff that I was doing so that I could continue to build Shorr Success, because my goals with Shorr Success are double-digit growth this year from last year. And so what does that mean? It means I need to do more getting out and telling people who I am, what I do, and less of the day-to-day activities at the tech business. So that's been an interesting shift for me to let go of what I was doing there. But the girl that's in my shoes now is phenomenal, and she's got a lot of energy and creativity. So I'm thrilled, and I'm so thankful. We also have a marketing intern from a local college, and a sales, an inside salesperson, outside sales. So we're ramping it up, and we're not stopping. And this is our time to shine. This is our time,
That's
and
exciting.
I owe it to my team to keep them busy and keep them employed and giving them interesting work to do. And I do feel like Shorr Success is making the IT community more empathetic, more compassionate. And that's now where I'm drawn to go, and to really help more and more IT companies, IT departments, just learn how to communicate and respect each other, and communicate in a way that we bring ourselves together, not put ourselves in silos or push ourselves away from each other. And we can't afford to do that now. We need to bring ourselves back and really collaborate together. And so there's a lot of merging and a lot of stuff going on in our industry. And so communication skills is going to be really important to make people feel like they're invested and they're part of the whole process, the whole conversation. So, and that takes me helping people.
It does. So
Wow.
I normally like want to give you an opportunity to do, pitch. So I'm assuming you have two different websites,
I do.
and then you have your LinkedIn. So it's just Lisa Shorr, SHORR.
Yep.
Yeah. And we put this in the notes too. But then what are the two
Websites.
websites?
So if you are looking for communication to learn how to, or to enhance the communication of your team, your department, so that they're more empathetic when they're dealing internally, you learn how to deal with more difficult conversations, and you want to maintain credibility. You want to provide enhanced customer experience, not just customer service. That's Shorr Success. And the website is Shorr, SHORR, success.com. Right on the homepage is a button where it says, book a meeting with me. So book a free consultation with me. Let's talk. Let's just have a conversation about anything that you need. You have an employee that you want to improve their communication skills. You've got some phone skills challenges, and clients are saying, you act like as if you have no idea who I am. You're looking to build morale of your team. That's that. If you're looking for IT support, or if you're a network engineer and you know your way around provisioning firewalls and you know about networks and IP addresses and all of that, we're hiring. A shameless plug, we are hiring. I'd love to see your resume, so send that to me. But if you're looking for an outsourced IT department or you know someone who needs outsourced IT, visit, I'm going to say Shorr Success. Hold on. securefuturetech.com. So it's 3 words, but they're all together. securefuturetech.com. And that's both businesses. Busy
Gotcha.
day.
Or you can just go to LinkedIn and message you.
You can certainly find me on LinkedIn, message me there. Absolutely connect, follow me. I post content all the time. You can visit my YouTube channel too, if you'd like to see some of the videos and the Shorr Success tips that I've created to help you build your business and to help you build strong personal brands and to become what I call brand building rock stars.
There you go. Ooh, I like that.
Love that. Thank you.
That's like your superpower. Building brand.
See?
Yeah, that's your superpower.
That's your superpower. You're a brand building rock star. And you don't have to just be a little technician. I don't want that mindset anymore for us women. I want us to think, how can we have a huge impact on the growth of my journey, my career, and the organization and my career, the organization I'm working for, right? We all have that ability to have impact. We have to choose to have it. We have to choose to step into the role and assert ourselves and let our place be known. And we all have smarts. Share it. Don't undermine yourself, for sure.
There you go. That's some good advice.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I did it in the beginning for many years, and I don't want anyone else to fall in I guess it's no wonder I'm an image consultant now, because it took me a while to figure out how to get out of it and shift that mindset that, oh, I have a lot to add. I belong in the IT industry for a reason. I have a lot to add. And so do you, many of you in the industry, for sure.
Yes, agreed.
Amen.
Amen. All right. Well, Lisa, I totally appreciate you taking time out of your busy day to come on the podcast and chat with us and give us lots of inspiration. You're a busy lady, so I appreciate your time. And
I love it.
securefuturetech.com.
Yep.
ShorrSuccess.com.
You got it. SHORR. So ShorrSuccess.com. Yep.
And then,
awesome.
And yes, so I always like to do that one last time in case anybody wasn't quite writing down.
Write this down.
Write this down. So, well, you're fabulous. I appreciate all you're doing for women and imaging. Definitely. We got a lot out there. We got to improve.
We need the support. We need to acknowledge and we need the support. And I know I'm unique in our industry in terms of the image consulting side of my training, but I also have a very unique understanding of how to administer it because I know where everybody is because I've been in it for 23 years. So I get it. And it's time for all of us to shine. So, whatever I can do to help you be sure to shine every time, let me know.
Ooh, listen to that.
I
love it. All right. Well, thank you so much. And enjoy those beaches when it gets warm out.
Come on out and visit me, please.
I will.
Everybody, come visit Rhode Island. Let me know you're here.
I definitely will.
Oh, well, thank you for having me. And this is really, I'm glad you're doing this. Thank you for everything you do as well as with, and it's been awesome. Thank you.
Thank you so much.